the next heading called as Bryophytes. So we know that Bryophytes are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom. They are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom because Bryophytes grows in the moist soil and requires water for the sexual reproduction. Hence, they are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom. And Bryophytes are also called as non-vascular plants. The meaning of non-vascular plants here, the xylem as well as phloem both are absent. So xylem and phloem is absent. We know that xylem is called as a water conducting system and phloem is called as food conducting system. Both are absent. So it is also called as non-vascular plants. So we go in detail. Bryophyte. The term bryophyte was coined by Brent. So this person has coined the word bryophytes. The word bryophyte is coined by Brent. The study of bryophytes, are called as bryology. The study of bryophytes are called as bryology. The father of bryology is Hedwig. Hedwig is called as the father of bryophytes or bryology. So father of bryology, bryophytes is called as Hedwig. Now we go for the next one called as the father of Indian bryology. Father of Indian bryology or bryophytes is Shivram Kashik. Shivram Kashik. So Shivram Kashik is called as the father of Indian bryology. So this is about introduction. So we go in detail. Now bryophytes are always growing in the moist soil. So they grow in the moist soil, hence they are also called as psychophytes. So here psychophytes are nothing but where the plants are growing in the moist soil. It also grows on the damp soil and it is also present in the humid regions. Damp soil, humid regions, they are being growing. Bryophytes helps in plant succession. So here the word plant succession is nothing but on the rocks, on the bare rock or on the soil. First, the bryophytes grows on the barren rock or bare rock. On that, later on, the grasses, herbs, shrubs, trees will keep on growing. So the pioneer vegetation to climax vegetation, in this plants will be keep on growing. For that, we use the word plant succession. So bryophytes always help in plant succession. Next, bryophytes are called amphibians. Amphibians of plant kingdom. So bryophytes are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom, or it may be even called as terrestrial amphibians. Terrestrial amphibians, or it is also called as amphibians of the plant kingdom. So here the meaning of plant kingdom. So here we say that amphibians of the plant kingdom because they always try to grow in the moist soil. So once the moist soil the plant grows for the sexual activities, For the transfer of a male gamete to the female gamete, they require water. So the water is required for the sexual activities. They grow on the moist soil, hence it is called as amphibians. So here, for the sexual reproduction, water is required. So we call it as amphibians of the plant kingdom, or it is also called as terrestrial amphibians. So we go for the next one. So here the plant body. So we are going to read about plant body. So the plant body of bryophyte is thallus. So usually it is like a thallus. The meaning of thallus, they grow horizontal to the soil. So simple plant body is present. Hence we use the word thallus-like plant body is being present. And it also has prostate type of plant body. Prostate type of the plant body is also present, and there is a presence of even erect type of plant body is also present. So here the plant body may be thallus-like, prostate-like, or it is also called as erect type of erect. Plant body is present. Next, the plant body is always attached to the substratum. It is attached to the substratum. So here it is attached to the substratum in the presence of rhizoids. So here the rhizoids are nothing but it looks like a root. They are not true roots but still root-like structures called rhizoids. They help in anchorage or they help in fixation to the soil. Next, the rhizoids are of two types. So we are talking about the rhizoids. So the rhizoids are unbranched. Rhizoids are unbranched, unicellular. So here the rhizoids are called as the fixation substances, or they help in fixing to the substance, and they are usually unbranched rhizoids are being present. There is no branching, and it is unicellular, and this can be noticed in Rixia, Markantia. Rixia and Markantia, there is a presence of unbranched. Again, the rhizoids are of two types. So one is called as smooth rhizoids. Smooth rhizoids. So the meaning of smooth rhizoids, the rhizoids has the presence of the continuous covering is present like this. Hence, they are always called as smooth rhizoids. This is called as smooth rhizoids. The second one is called as pegged rhizoids. Pegged rhizoids are also called as tuberculated. Tuberculated rhizoids. So in these tuberculated rhizoids, just we see there is a presence of the rhizoids, and this is cover has the presence of the inner wall, has the presence of peg-like structures of being present. Hence they are called as pegged rhizoids. They are also called as tuberculated, or they are called as pegged rhizoids. So this is about two types of rhizoids. One is called as smooth rhizoids, and the other one is called as pegged rhizoids. Next, the rhizoids are branched. Rhizoids are branched, and it is multicellular. So rhizoids are branched and it is multicellular. This can be noticed in Fineria. Fineria, polytrichal. In this, there is a presence of branch and multicellular rhizoids are being present. But here, true root system, true stem or leaves are totally absent. So true root system is absent and stem and leaves are absent. But here, the plant body looks like root-like, stem-like or leaf-like structures are being present. But they are not true roots, but it appears like a root-like, stem-like and leaf-like structures are being present. So this is about a small introduction. So we go in detail. So again, the plant body of a bryophyte is thallus-like. Thallus-like, hence we use the word thalloid. Thalloid plant body. And this thalloid is always haploid. So here the word haploid, it is called as single set of chromosome. We represent this as a N. So single set of chromosomes are present in the plant body, hence they are called as haploid, thalloid plant bodies are being present. Next, they are autotrophic. They are autotrophic in nutrition. Autotrophic in nutrition. The word autotrophic, here they can prepare their own food. They can prepare their own food, hence they are called as autotrophic. And here they are called as non-vascular plants. Autotrophic, they can prepare their own food. They are called as autotrophic and they are called as non-vascular plants. So the meaning of non-vascular, here the xylem and phloem is totally absent. Xylem and phloem is absent. So we know that xylem is called as water conducting system and the phloem is usually called as food conducting system, but here the water conducting as well as the food conducting is absent, hence they are called as non-vascular plants. Next, as I mentioned, the plant body is haploid. They have a single set of chromosomes are being present in a cell, hence they are called as haploid plant body. And here the plant body produces gametes. The plant body produces haploid gametes. The plant body produces haploid gametes, hence it is also called as gametophytes. The word gametophyte is nothing but the plant body which produces the gametes. The plant body which produces the gametes, they are called as gametophytes. And these gametes are always haploid gametes are being present. Now we will go for the sex organs. So here the sex organs present in the bryophytes, the sex organs present in the bryophytes are always called as multicellular. Multicellular sex organs are being present. As I mentioned, multicellular is nothing but it is made up of many cells. Hence they are called as multicellular sex organs are being present. So the male sex organ, the male sex organ is always called as antheridium. The male sex organs is called as antheridium. So this antheridium produces the male gametes called as biflagellated antherzoids. So I repeat this, the male sex organs are always called as antheridium. So this antheridium produces the male gametes called as biflagellated antherzoids. In some of the species, we also use spermatozoids. Antherzoids, spermatozoids can be used. In some of the species, it is biciliated spermatozoids. Biciliated sperm or spermatozoids can be used, or it has the presence of biflagellated antherzoid is called as a male gamete. So usually there is a presence of two flagellas are being present. So hence they are called as antherzoids. Antherzoids are being present as a male gamete. Now we go for it. The next one called as female sex organ. The female sex organs are always called as archegonium. Archegonium. This is flask shape. It looks like a flask shape and produces only one egg. It produces single egg is called as a female gamete. The female gamete is called as egg and it produces only one single female gamete is produced in the female sex organ called as archegonium. So archegonium is called as a female reproductive system. The male reproductive system is antheridium and the female reproductive system is called as archegonium. The male gametes are called as biflagellated anther-zooids and the female gamete is called as egg. So this is about one. So we go for the next one. So the antheridium produces male gamete. The antheridium produces male gamete called as anther-zooid. Anther-zooids are biflagellated spermatozoids or anther-zooids. These anther-zooids are released from the antheridium. They are released from antheridium. So once it is released from the antheridium, they keep on swimming in the water. And reaches the female plant. So here water is required for the sexual reproduction. Hence we use the word amphibians. So here the anther-zooids are released into the water. In the water they move towards the female sex organs called as archegonium. It goes and reaches the archegonium in the water. So they swim in the water, reach archegonium. So inside the archegonium, they enter into the archegonium and reach the egg. So here the anther-zooids enter inside the archegonium, reach with the egg and they fuse. So here anther-zooid fuses with egg of archegonium and fuse together to form a zygote. Here the male gamete and the female gamete is fused together to form a zygote. So here the zygote immediately it never undergoes meiosis. So but here once the zygote is formed, it never undergoes immediately reductional division or meiosis. It waits for a small period and it is converted into a multicellular. So here the zygote never undergoes meiosis, but it takes a small time and immediately it converts into multicellular body called sporophyte. So here the zygote gives rise to sporophyte. So here as we say the male gamete and the female gamete fuse together to form a zygote. Once the zygote is formed, this zygote undergoes multicellular bodies and this multicellular bodies gives rise to sporophyte. So this sporophyte is not free living. This sporophyte is not a free living one, but it is attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte. So here, as I mentioned, the plant body is thallus and it is gametophytic. The meaning of gametophytic, which produces gametes. But here, as I said, the zygote converts into sporophyte, and this sporophyte is not a free living, but it is attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte. And here, it takes the nourishment from this. And the sporophyte undergoes continuous process. Here, the sporophyte is diploid. Here, as I mentioned, I am very clear about the plant body is haploid. But the gametes produced here are the zooid haploid and the egg is haploid. Both the haploids gametes are fused together to form a zygote. So zygote is diploid, but it gives rise to a sporophyte plant, and this sporophyte plant is a diploid sporophytic plant and get nourishment from the photosynthetic gametophytes. Once they get the nourishment, here this sporophyte undergoes meiosis. So once it converts into a sporophyte plant, and then once it gets the nourishment from the photosynthetic gametophyte, then it converts into meiosis. Cell division takes place, or the sporophyte undergoes meiosis to produce haploid spores. They produce haploid spores are being produced. So here each spore has the capacity again to produce photosynthetic gametophytes. And repeat this. So here the sporophyte undergoes meiosis. The sporophyte undergoes meiosis. Meiosis is called as reductional division. So once it undergoes reductional division, it has the capacity to produce haploid spores. So this haploid spores gives rise to a new plant body, that is nothing but the thallus-like plant body, or thalloid plant body is produced. And this thalloid plant body or thallus-like plant body is photosynthetic and has the capacity to produce the gametes, since they are called as gametophytic. So this gives rise to haploid, this gives rise to haploid photosynthetic gametophytic plant body. So all this are nothing but the general characters of bryophytes. Now we step into the next study called as economic importance. Economic importance of bryophytes. So we start with economic importance of bryophytes. So here, very first one is masses. So here we know that masses. So this masses forms a supplementary food, or it forms a food. So it supplies food, or it acts like a food for the herbaceous, animals. Herbaceous animals, it forms a food, as well as for some of the other animals also, this masses forms the food. So first point, it acts as a food. This is one of the economic importance. So when we go for the other one called as peat moss. Peat moss. So peat moss is also called as sphagnum. Peat moss is also called as sphagnum. So this sphagnum acts as a, so this peat moss or sphagnum, or it is also called as a carpet moss. So here sphagnum, carpet moss, peat moss, all this used as a fluid. Used as fluid. So here this has the capacity for water holding. So it also has, the peat moss has water holding capacity. So this is one more to be remembered. So it has the capacity for water holding, and it has once it is holding the water, this is also used in packing. So So for the packing of the materials, living materials can be packed in the presence of the peat mass or sphagnum. Next, we go for the other one called as bog mass. So this bog mass is always called as true mass. So bog mass is always called as a true mass, whereas Irish mass, or we use a word reindeer mass. So this Irish mass, reindeer mass is always called as false mass. False mass. Even the club mass. So here Irish mass, reindeer mass, club mass, all these are called as false masses, whereas bog mass is called as true mass. Next, we go for the other word called as retardations. So here we go for the next one called as retardations. So retardations of sphagnum, peat mass. So this retardations, they hold the water. So they help in retaining water in it. So usually this acts as a good capacity of water holding. It has a good capacity of water holding. Hence, this is used as a packing. It is used in the packing of a living materials like flowers. Flowers can be easily packed with this retard cells. So here it is a good capacity of holding water. So because it is holding water, this is also called as hygroscopic. Hygroscopic. So it holds the water. This is one more point. So we go for the next point. So the masses always prevent environmental problems. So here we usually use the word the masses prevent environmental problems like soil erosion. So we know that once there is a presence of masses are being continuously grown on the soil. Masses are continuously grown on the soil, so immediately they form an intensive mat-like structure. Intensive mats are being formed on the soil and it avoids soil erosion. So all this are called as economic importance of bryophytes. Now we are going for the next one called as classification of bryophytes. So here the bryophytes are classified into two divisions. One is called as, or one class is called as liverworts and the other one is called as masses. So we go one after the other. The next one is classification of bryophytes. Classification of bryophytes. They are classified into two types. The first one is called as liverworts and the second one is called as masses. So now we are starting with liverworts. Here the plant body looks like a liver lobes. So here the plant body looks like a liver lobes. Hence, this liverworts is also called as hepatic oxida. So liverworts is also called as hepatic oxida because it looks like a liver lobes. Here, liverworts grows in the moist soil. They grow in the moist soil, shady places or areas, or we use the word habitats. They grow in the shady habitats, and it also grows on the banks of streams. So bank of streams, marshy areas or marshy grounds, or on the bark of trees. So bark of trees or banks of streams, marshy areas, moist soil and shady habitats, in all this they are going to grow. Liverworts are commonly called as golden mines. Liverworts are called as golden mines. So they are called as golden mines of liverworts because they grow more in western Himalayas. Western Himalayas. So the western Himalayas is called as golden mines of liverworts. They grow more in western Himalayas, hence they are also called as golden mines of liverworts. Here the plant body is dichotomous branch trees present. First it is thalloid. Thalloid plant body or thallus-like plant body has the presence of dichotomous branches can be noticed in the liverworts. So we go with the plant body of liverworts. So in the plant body of liverworts, the plant body has thallus or thallus-like plant body is present, and here the thallus-like plant body can be noticed in Rixia marcantia. So here there is a simple plant body is present, and the plant body is dorsiventrally flattened. The plant body is dorsiventrally flattened plant body is present, and they are attached to the substratum with the help of rhizoids. Here there is the presence of rhizoids of being present, and thus rhizoids are usually helps in attachment, or it is usually called as fixation. So dorsiventrally flat body, and there is a presence of rhizoids of being present. Here the plant body is a simple plant body can be noticed, called as thallus type of plant body can be noticed. So we continue with the next one is asexual reproduction in the liverworts. So liverworts, they are also called as hepatic oxida. In this we are talking about asexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction is always by fragmentation. So here the fragmentation is nothing but the thallus plant body is cut into pieces. The thallus plant body is cut into pieces, then the plant body is cut into pieces called as thalloid plant body, then it is called as fragmentation. Next, it also produces a specialized structures. The plant body produces a specialized structures called as gemma or gemmae. So this gemma or gemmae is produced on the dorsal side of the plant body. It is green in color. It is green in color. It is produced on the dorsal side of the plant body, on the topper side of the plant body, and they are multicellular. And they are multicellular asexual buds. So gemmae is green in color, present on the dorsal side of the thallus, multicellular asexual buds. So this buds grows in cup-like structure called as gemma cups. So in the gemma cups, there is a formation of gemmae. So this gemma cups holds gemmae, and once it is detached, the gemmae or gemma is detached, immediately it falls on a suitable place and it gives rise to new plant, or the gemmae germinates. The gemmae germinates to give rise to a new plant body. So hence this is usually called as asexual type of reproduction. Now we will step into the next words. So here asexual type of reproduction. So we go for the next one called sexual type of reproduction. So we start with sexual reproduction. So sexual reproduction is nothing but the formation of gametes. So here the gametes are being produced. Here the male sex organs are called as antheridium. The male sex organs are called antheridium, and the female sex organs, are called as archegonium. So the male sex organs produces male gametes. They produce male gametes called anthrozoites, and the female gamete is called egg. The female gamete is called as egg. So from the male plant, the antherzoids are released in the water. So once it is released in the water, this antherzoids swim in the water and reaches the archegonium. Once it reaches the archegonium, they fuse together. The antherzoid and egg is fused to form zygote. This zygote is giving rise to sporophyte. It gives rise to sporophyte. So it gives rise to a sporophytic plant. Here the sporophyte has the presence of foot, seta, capsule. So here the plant body is usually the gametophytic plant body. Here the male plant. The male plant, this is called male plant, and here this is called as a female plant. They are called as gametophytic. From the male plant, they produces antherzoids and they are released. They move towards the female plant, swim in the water, reaches the egg and fuse. Once it converts into the zygote, this female plant produces foot, seta and capsule. So this is called as foot and this is called as seta and capsule. So this foot, seta and capsule. So this capsule is producing the spores. The capsule produces spores, and this, once the capsule is opened, it throws out the spores, and the spores falls at a suitable place to give rise to new plant body. So here the spore is giving rise to new plant body. So this is about liverworts. So we go for the next class called as mosses. So mosses is also called as Bryopsida. It is called as class Bryopsida, or it is called as mosses. Here the gametophyte exists in two types. One is called as the primary gametophyte, the primary stage. The primary gametophyte or the primary stage has the presence of Protonema. So here in mosses there is a presence of a primary stage, and this primary stage is called as Protonema stage. So the Protonema stage is also called as juvenile stage. It is called as juvenile stage, or it is called as the Protonema stage. So here the plant body is keep on growing and germinates to produce spores. They grow and helps in the formation of the germination of spores are being produced. So this is about the primary stage. So in the primary stage they grow, germinates, produces spores. But here the plant body is simple green color, and there is a presence of creeping nature. There is a presence of creeping thalloid Protonema is present. Whereas when we go for the secondary stage, the second one is called as the secondary stage, or it is called as secondary Protonema. Secondary Protonema. Here they are far away from the spores. Here the germination of spores takes place. This spore is giving rise to secondary Protonema. So this secondary Protonema is germinated from the spores, and they give rise to spirally arranged leaves. So here the plant body is simple. There is a presence of root-like structures called as rhizoids, and a very delicate stem covered by the whorls of leaves are being present. So like this, the arrangement of spirally arranged leaves can be noticed, and this can be noticed in Phaenalia. So this is can be noticed in Phaenalia. So this is the primary produces spores. The primary is giving rise to secondary Protonema, and this secondary Protonema produces the spirally arranged leaves are being present, and also these leaves are attached to the plant body is attached to the soil in the presence of rhizoids, and also they possess the sex organs. Here the sex organs are also being produced. Now we go for reproduction in masses. So we go for reproduction in masses. The first one is there is a presence of asexual type of reproduction, or we use the word asexual type of reproduction. There is a presence of fragmentation. So here the plant body is cut into pieces and has the capacity to give rise to new plant body, and it also has budding type of reproduction. Here the thallus is cut into pieces. Each piece has the capacity to give rise to new plant, hence they are called as fragmentation type of reproduction. Whereas budding, it is nothing but produces a small outgrowths called as buds, which has the capacity to give rise to new plant. Now we go for the next one called as sexual type of reproduction. Here the sexual type of reproduction, they produces gametes. So the male plant called as Antheridium produces antherzoids, and the female plant called as Archegonium produces a female gamete called as egg or ova. This gamete fuses, or the antherzoids are released in the water. They go and reach the egg or ova in the water, and they reach the archegonium and fuse with the egg to give rise to zygote, and this zygote is giving rise to a sporophyte. It gives rise to a sporophytic plant body. So this sporophyte has the presence of foot, seta and capsule. Foot, seta and capsule. The capsule undergoes meiosis type of reproductions or meiosis type of divisions, and they produces spores. The capsule produces spores, and these spores are released. These spores are released and they fall on a suitable place to give rise to new plant body. So this is about masses. So we go for examples. So examples of masses. So in this examples of masses, one of this is Phoenicia, Polytrichum, Phoenicia, Polytrichum. Polytrichum is also called as air-cap mass. So it is also called as air-cap masses, sphagnum. So all these are called as the examples of bryomasses. Now I am giving you one or two words about the neat word. The smallest bryophyte. The smallest bryophyte is called as zoopsis. Zoopsis is called as the smallest bryophyte. And there is a presence of the tallest mass. The tallest mass is called as dasyury. This is called as the tallest mass and the smallest one. And the other one is the largest archegonium. Largest archegonia is present in the Phoenicia. So these are some of the important words related to the bryophytes.